The Arizona State Sun Devils struggled in Natasha Adair's first season as head coach, but she already feels like this offseason, with a new roster and new systems in place, that the Devils will be able to hit the ground running in 2023.
Well, year one, I will say, it was just a transitional year. Honestly, we dealt with some adversity, as we know. We had a lot of injuries, uncontrollable. But what I learned about our team is that we have a resilient group. Every night you saw our team compete, and I don't know if it was just we didn't have that preparation that we needed night in and night out because we had to conserve them, or whatever it may be. But what I was proud of was they were able to compete. They were, even up until the last game, in the conference tournament, where you take, UCLA to overtime. Again, no moral victories, because I just, for me, those aren't enough. But just the reality of where we were and what was going on, I was proud of how our kids they never quit. And to take that energy, to take that motivation, going into year two, we had an off season, right? We have had time to build and spend time together and just build this chemistry and culture as we're trying to reestablish a new culture here at ASU. Even with the transfer portal, we were able to handpick players that fit in our system and that want to play in our system. And so now I have 16 players on the roster that came to play for Coach A.
Yeah.
And so I just think that year two is already trending in the right direction because of the things that we're able to do with the players who definitely want to play in this style.
You said a lot of things out of your control last year, out of your team's control. One of those steady presences, though, is Jaden Simmons.
Yes.
Where are you seeing the growth from her now with second year working with her?
She's such a leader. Year one, she had to learn me, right? I had to learn her. But again, for her to make that decision to stay already told me who she was to the core and just the type of person, integrity, loyalty, trust. Now, this year for her is just full domination. I mean, she has the ability to take over any game. And just her leadership. She's quiet by nature, right? So we've talked about just that vocal leadership, but she's the hardest worker. She's going to win every sprint, every day in practice. I mean, her teams are, as we're competing in practice, you see her leading, you see her willing her team, and she has the trust and the command of everyone on the team. She's earned that. But she's also been intentional about building those relationships and building that rapport. And this is her senior year, right? Now, it's now. Like, time is now. And so we've had those individual conversations. She is the face, she is the leader, but she's earned it. And so I'm excited to see her thrive this season, to see her not really carry our team because she doesn't have to, but just for her to put all of her hard work over so many years together to where she gets to shine and our team gets to shine.
Ty Skinner, obviously a big loss being out for the year.
Right.
How is she still being a leader on this team? And, how do you can't replace a Ty Skinner, but how can you, have some players help shoulder that load?
I'll tell you, I mean, not even a week after surgery, Ty was back in practice on her crutches, crutching around in every huddle. I mean, I would walk and I would hear the little crutches. I'd hear the crutches behind me, and it's her. And you said it, leader. I mean, she's a warrior.
Yeah.
She is literally relentless, and she looked at this opportunity. Again, she was sad for maybe 5 minutes, and then she said, you know what, there's a reason, but it's not going to stop me from leading and talking and being that voice in the locker room, on the court. She's leading in a different way. And I even said, you know what, Ty, you're going to see the game differently when you're on the sidelines. Now, of course, obviously, we want her in the game, and we don't want her to have to learn. But every opportunity is a opportunity to learn, and so she's looking at it that way. But we're not going to stop hearing her voice. She's not going to stop leading because that's who she is, and that's what this team means to her. And so she's just going to lead in a different way, and I think that she will continue to grow from it.
Mm-hmm. The move to the Big 12,
yes.
It feels like you're just getting used to the Pac-12.
I'm like, what are we doing?
So what do you foresee? How can that, help the program? What are there any drawbacks to the move? What do you foresee for that with ASU moving?
I think the first thing is we talk about just the 108 years of just history right? Competitive history and just the championships after championships, right? The conference of champions and being able to, in this historic season, represent our ASU, obviously, but represent the pack. And that's the message we've been talking to with the players. Just making sure this last season we leave it all on the court. But moving forward, we talk about it in recruiting, obviously, because that's the big question as we're recruiting players. But I think the biggest thing that we share is that you're not going to lose that competitiveness, especially when you have the other teams in Arizona, Colorado, Utah that are making that move together. So you're still, to a certain degree, you hold on to the pack. Sure. Part of us going and is because of the success that the teams have had, and they want us to be a part of it. But I think you talk about demographically from a recruiting standpoint where you can reach maybe more players in different areas where you're able to now go Midwest. Now you're able to go East Coast. But I think you hang on to the integrity of the pack even as we move because of the teams that are going as well. But it just opens it up in recruiting. It opens it up nationally. But I think right now the focus is just the Pac-12 and the statement we want to make this year.